There's this quote from the Hatha Yoga Pradipika. So the Hatha Yoga Pradipika is an earlier manual from dating back to the 1500s on the practice of Hatha Yoga. And in this manual, this practical practice manual, it has a section that talks about what's called pranayama. Pranayama is the word for working with our breath, working with breathing. Prana is the life force that emanates all of reality, including our body and mind. It's flowing through us. And so there are practices of how to work with the breathing to change the states of our minds. And this is really, I think, what guided meditation also is leading us to, is how do we shift or change our mind. Now, we start out with recognizing that our mind as it is completely Buddha nature, right? Our mind as it is in this moment is the Buddha's wisdom. So we're not trying to erase the wisdom that's coming from our mind in this moment. It's not that it's not that our minds presently are bad and where we're going to is a place that's better than where we are right now. However, we can use pranayama as a means to transform, to change how we think, to change how we feel. And if we can use a breathing practices to do that, I don't, these are time tested. I don't see any issue with that at all. I remember when I was going through yoga teacher training and I was questioning this whole thing about pranayama. Like, why do we need to do this? There are Zen teachers who think it's unnecessary actually to do pranayama. And I brought that attitude with me into the teacher training, kind of really questioning, the importance of pranayama. And one of the teachers there said to me point blank, when I asked him why do pranayama, and he said point blank, because it will improve your meditation experience. And that idea never dawned on me, strangely, because that's not the way that I was taught how to do meditation. Like I said, we start out just as we are is totally fine, right? And we allow the universe to work through us. Pranayama is a little bit different in that regard. We're starting to use techniques to change the way that we feel or think. I'll let you be the judge as to whether it's useful or helpful or effective or necessary or not, but I've found that more and more recently I've found these practices really helpful. So pranayama, there are practices that we can do to help to, if we're feeling anxious, to help us to calm down. If we're feeling lethargic or dull-minded, to lift us up and also to balance us out. So that's what I'd like to share with you for this guided, at least for the first part of this guided meditation. And as I mentioned, the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, there's a line from that manual that says, as the breath runs, so does the mind. As the breath steadies, so does the mind. As the breath runs, so does the mind. As the breath steadies, so does the mind. Our breath can be a gateway, a doorway to understanding the workings of our mind. And in focusing on our breathing, in focusing on our breath, we can come to see how our mind is. Is our breath steady, smooth, even, slow? Then our mind, and if we're watching that, our mind becomes that. Is our breath rough, erratic, inconsistent, jumpy? Well, if we're watching that, then that's how our mind becomes, or our mind actually may already be like that. The mind is really hard to work with directly. And so that's why we can use our breathing as a way to work indirectly with our mind. And Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh, the Vietnamese Zen master, he says, and this is a Buddhist saying, that the breath is the royal road to body-mind oneness, to oneness of body and mind. The breath is the royal road to finding the oneness with body and mind. So as I'm talking here and giving you this kind of preamble, I hope that you are taking advantage of this time to just notice your breathing, right? Just bring your awareness to your breath, watching your breath go out, watching your breath go in. And this breath is a royal road to mind body oneness, oneness of body and mind. And Zen Master Dogen in the 13th century, in his instructions for zazen, he says simply about the breath, just one small thing he says. He just says, breathe quietly through your nose. Breathe quietly through your nose. So let's check out some of these practices. We'll do 3 of them. The first one is called 3-part breath. And 3-part breath helps us to begin to settle our mind. It's kind of a foundational pranayama. And for this breath, we take a full breath in, feel it go into your abdomen, into your ribs, into your upper respiratory system, and also lifting your collarbones up. The exhale, we reverse that movement. So the collarbones lower, the upper respiratory system deflates. And at the end of the exhalation, we press our abdomen, our navel in towards our spine, pressing out the remaining air in our lungs. And then passively release the breath. Fill your abdomen first with fresh oxygen. Then watch it rise up into the rib cage, all the way up to the collarbones, to the base of the throat. And then again, reversing. At the end of the exhale, just press the navel in towards the spine. The inhale is passive, filling up from the bottom to the top. So let's do this practice for a couple of minutes. See if you can make this 3-part breath into one smooth, continuous breath. There's no hurry, and try not to force your breath. Try not to hold your breathing. It's okay to feel a little bit lightheaded while you're doing these breaths. But if your anxiety increases, then it may be time to quit. But if you feel confident in how you're doing so far, just continue at the pace you're going. Okay, at the end of the next exhalation, return your breathing to normal. Watching your breath go back to normal breath. You may wish to have your hands on your knees for this next one, if they're not there already. So this next one is called the skull shining breath. And this one invigorates the body, invigorates your system, fills it with a lot of strong, fresh prana, life force. To prepare for it, make sure to be sitting upright, not too upright though, right? So the back is upright, but not too upright, not uptight. And this is a forceful snapping of the abdomen in as you exhale. So the exhale is done with a snapping of the abdomen inwards, and then a passive inhale. So you just release the abdomen, and the air naturally rushes back in through the nose. So this is done through the nose. This also helps to clear the nasal passages. You can see my abdomen here. I'm just going to place one hand at my abdomen so you can see perhaps my hand moving as I snap my abdomen in. So the way this goes, the way that this technique goes, is you exhale fully, inhale part way, and then snap. Snap and release. Okay, so it sounds like that. It looks like that. So your abdomen, the lower part of your abdomen is being drawn in towards your spine. Hold the breath out and then breathe in. Okay, so it sounds and looks like that. Let's do it together. I'll set the pace. When you're ready, take a deep breath in. Exhale slowly. At the end of the exhale, draw the navel in toward your spine. Inhale part way and snap. Release, snap, release. Exhale fully. Inhale a deep 3-part breath. Exhale slowly. Return the breath to normal. And you can do this with your eyes opened or closed. It's up to you. It's returning the breathing to normal. And let's do 2 more rounds of that kapalabhati, the skull shining breath. Okay, when you're ready, or you can follow my lead, I'll set the pace. Ready? Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Draw the navel in. Inhale part way and begin. Exhale fully. Inhale a deep 3-part breath. Exhale slowly with control. Return the breath to normal. So this breath is actually audible, and you may feel even heat in your body generated as a result of doing it. That's normal. Just allowing your breath to settle once again. And let's do one more round. One more round. So when you're ready, take a deep breath in. Exhale. Drawing the abdomen in. Inhale part way and begin. Exhale fully. Inhale a deep 3-part breath. Exhale slowly. Return the breath to normal. These breaths, especially kapalabhati, helps to keep the respiratory system in good working order, and so important, especially during this time of COVID. People have some yogic practitioners have said that these pranayama practices have been very helpful in recovery from COVID. So we hope nobody gets COVID, but if you do contract it, to know how to breathe properly. The 3-part breath can be very helpful for learning or relearning how to breathe. Kapalabhati, invigorating the lungs. And this next breath is called alternate nostril breathing. And this breath helps, so kapalabhati gives energy. Alternate nostril breathing helps to kind of even it out. We're balancing the 2 hemispheres of the brain by breathing through one nostril at a time. And we're also purifying our mind in the process. So to do this particular pranayama, we make a fist with our right hand, releasing the thumb and the last two fingers, placing our hand by our nose and closing the right nostril off with the thumb, exhaling through your left nostril, inhaling through your left nostril, closing off the left side of your nose with your last two fingers and exhaling through your right nostril. Inhaling through the right nostril, and then again exhaling through the left. So it's that pattern. Use your fingers, use your hand to close off one side of the nostril and then open it up and close off the other side. Try to make the exhale at least even or maybe a little bit longer than the inhale. So you can count your exhale as you're exhaling, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As you're inhaling, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then again, exhaling, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhaling, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or find a pace that works for you, and a count that works for you. If you find the numbers confusing and you feel like you can just do this without numbers, that's fine too. Okay. So let's try this. Let's try this together for maybe a couple of minutes. Okay, and then as you exhale next through the right side, through your right nostril, just release the pranayama and return your breathing to normal. We'll continue to proceed with guided meditation. Breathing in, I'm aware of my whole body. Breathing out, I calm my whole body down. Aware of my body on the in-breath, my physical body. Calming my body down on the out-breath. Just a normal breath. And now shifting our awareness to that which nourishes us, that which brings us joy. So this first exercise, as we breathe in, to become aware of somebody in our life that brings us joy, brings us happiness. It could be a family member, a friend, maybe somebody else. So recalling that person as you breathe in and smiling to that person as you breathe out, maybe even imagining them smiling at you. On the in breath, you can call to mind a person that gives you great joy. It could be somebody that you know, or even somebody that you don't know, that doesn't know you, that you don't know personally. On the out breath, smiling to that person, or even seeing that person smile back at you. If you want, you can call to mind, or maybe other people begin to pop into your mind And just allow that stream to be there, maybe multiple people at once or one at a time. Allow them to enter into your mind as they wish, bringing you a smile, bringing you joy, somebody that you deeply respect or admire, and that cares about you, even if they don't know who you are. And now bringing awareness back to our physical body. If your eyes have been closed, maybe begin to open them with a soft focus without moving around too much, noticing with your eyes maybe your body or the space immediately in front of you. Just noticing the space immediately in front of you, whatever happens to be there in your view. And then beginning to maybe turn your head to the left and to the right, just to see what's in the space around you. Maybe beginning to rock your body a little bit to come out of that stillness.